Gotta connect here, everywhere. Going live. Hello. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 10 questions not to ask a man. Yes, that's what we are talking about tonight. The 10 questions not to ask a man. I got these 10 questions from a an Instagram expert in dating, and I wanted to share my take on them with you because I believe these should never be asked to a man. They put him on the spot, make him uncomfortable. It's not a good idea if you want to inspire his desire. So stick around for these 10. You will really have your eyes opened at the end of this, I believe. And I'm going to give this woman expert credit because perhaps she is speaking to a very broad audience of men and women. Because if a man asks a woman these questions, it could be okay. And actually, it would be seen from the woman as something really special and maybe fun. But the opposite isn't true because we are equal but opposite. We are apples and oranges, black and white, sun and rain, stop and go, yes and no, male and female. We are equal but opposite. So we don't want to be doing what doesn't work with men. So before I get into it, welcome everyone here on this live tonight. If you are over on Instagram, come over to YouTube. And if you subscribe while you are here on this live, you will be able to get a 30-minute session with me. Yes, by subscribing and liking the video after it's posted and making a comment, you can actually have 30 minutes with me. So I hope you will do that. Come on over from Instagram to YouTube because that's where I see all the chats and comments so that I can most easily answer your questions because you are likely going to have a few and certainly some comments about these 10 things not to ask a man. And if you are new to me here and you are just finding me here, say, who am I to talk about this? I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire so you create the relationship of your dreams and level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. Because make no mistake, it is we as women who create relationships with men. We are the fuel for them. We know about relationships. We are most interested in relationships because we are the 3 C's of women that are in my book. We are the connectors, the cooperators, and the caretakers of the world. And men are equal but opposite, which is a wonderful thing. They are all about competition, challenge, and conquering. So when these 3 things meet these 3 things, we have a beautiful marriage of those 3 things that we both bring to the table. So let's get into this tonight. Hello over here on YouTube. And as I said, those on Instagram, come on over, subscribe while we are on this live and put the word subscribe in the chat and you will get a 30-minute session with me to ask me any question that's individual. I hope you will take advantage of it if you are dealing with any issue whereby you might have a question and want an objective view. Very, very different than speaking to a friend, a family member, someone who is invested in your life. hard for them to have an objectivity. And if the truth in me speaks to the truth in you, you will get a lot from doing that. So please come on over from Instagram and join us on YouTube. I would be very, very grateful if you did and subscribe, because then you can get all the videos here, and it is a community that I'm attempting to grow, and I would love for you to be a part of it. So I am taking these questions tonight from, and not so much a shout out to her, Art of Dating New York City. Actually, I have met her. I think she is an author. She has quite the following. I'm very happy for that. I believe, and I'm going to hope, that this post that she put out, that is 10 questions that you can ask on a date, she was thinking more towards men asking women. Because if she's thinking about women asking men these questions, it is not going to help women at all. It can actually, in my book, produce an ick for the man that will not easily be gotten over. And when we go through these one at a time, I will tell you why I feel that is, and maybe what you can ask instead. And you can make your comments, and I would love to see them. Again, I only see them over here on YouTube, so be sure to come over on YouTube if you are on Instagram. So let's get right to them right now. So again, this is Art of Dating New York City. She has these questions here, and I'm going to read it off, and we'll get into it. So the first, she gives a preamble. Dates are not interviews, for sure. But if you want real connection, you need real questions, the kind that reveal something more. Here are 10 to get started. First question, what brings you joy? Okay, certainly not the worst of them. Maybe they get a little worse as we go on. But to ask a man that on a date is not exactly inspiring. You could change the wording, I believe, and it will come off more casual and authentic. But make no mistake, women on dates, it's very important that you have more flirty restraint. And that seems oxymoronic. I'm going to explain what I mean. It's in my book that men relate via action, women relate via verbalization. So if a man were to ask you this, you would think, oh, what a unique question. And that's really interesting. And let me think about that. And let's talk about it. But if you ask a man this, it shows a lot of interest, and I believe too much forethought. It's a little contrived. I don't think that's typical conversation with people. And certainly not if you are holding yourself back and seeing if you like this man and being a little flirty. So if you were to just say, oh, what do you like to do on your time off? You see, that's something that could just come natural to you. In the moment, you thought of it. But again, we don't want to be asking a man many questions. What does it show? Overt interest. There's a very old adage, it's kind of a joke, but it really points up how we need to show more restraint, and especially verbally, and like we are evaluating the man in a nice way, not judging, evaluating. Like, I just want to see who you are and what you're about. Not a judging. You see, there's a difference. But make no mistake, the man is all about challenge, competition, and conquering. So if we don't have a bar for him to jump over, then it's not as interesting to him. It's not as fun. It's not as titillating. And men show significant interest in women that they have to pursue. So we don't want to take that away from a man. It's a gender gap in my book. Men fall in love through the act of pursuing your time, attention, and affection. The gender gap is men love through wondering. We need to make him wonder. Just wonder, what does she really think of me? Does she like me? Am I getting somewhere? Am I going to get somewhere? You see? So, what brings you joy? A little too contrived, too thought out? Don't ask it. Again, if it comes up, what do you like to do in your time off? Okay, but again, steer away from questions. He needs to be engaging you. That's how he more falls for you. And it's not an interview. She's absolutely right. Not an interview. That's why I say on first meetings from online, don't go for coffee. That's what you do with a colleague or a friend. No, that's not an environment that prompts a relaxation in a way that's more of a date. So in my One Love program, that's online to Never Ending Love, I have exactly where you go, exactly what time, because environment means so much to how we feel. So we want to set the stage, right environment. Okay, let's get to another question here. I have to open my phone because I didn't. Okay. Oh my goodness, this one. Okay. Okay. Am I the type of person you usually go out with? No. It's cringy. Am I the type of person you usually go out with? Even if a man asked you that, you think, that's really lame. The whole feeling is like, do you like me? Am I up to par? Am I good enough? Do I meet the standard? No, no, don't ask that. I think you can, I think you can get why. All right. Okay. What's a quality about you that you believe has held you back from finding your right person? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It elicits that A, or I should say, it assumes that A, he's looking for his right person. And again, that you want to know something about that. That's not elusive. That's not making him wonder. There is only one thing you want to be doing on, say, certainly a first date. And that is simply relaxing, having a good time. Just being authentic, but not showing overt interest, because then he doesn't wonder. And if he's not wondering, he's not actively engaged and falling. Men fall in love through the act of pursuing, meaning wondering, trying to get your time, attention, and affection. Think about that question. What's a quality about you that has held you back from finding your right person? No. I dare say if a man asked that, um, first of all, it would be, oh, I think it's even almost like it's very assuming. And I I wouldn't know what to say. I mean, it's just, I don't like it. And as you go down the road, you also don't want to ask it. It shows too much investment in what? A relationship. Understand, there was an enormous study that was done. 20,000, I believe. That's a very, very big survey of men. The reason they date. Men date for only one reason. It's going to surprise you. Men date for the possibility of finding short-term sexual partners. That's it. Men do not set out dating to find their one. It's not that they don't evolve to a place and come to a time in their life or place in their life, and it is independent on age, where if they fall in love and they are ready, they will commit. But men do not date in the same way women date. Women don't date for the possibility of having sex with that person, maybe that night. Now, I'm not saying all men do this, but to a certain degree they do, meaning that if the woman were to want to have sex with them, then they would, on average, generally speaking. Again, gross generalization, but you understand that I speak in terms of norms. Okay, so there was another study that they did on college campuses, and they had actors that were attractive, female actress, male actor, and they went up to the opposite sex. And I think they did something like drop something in front of them and say, "Oh, excuse me," look at them and say, "Oh my goodness, you're very attractive. Would you like to have sex with me?" Something like, "Would you like to come home and have sex with me?" Something like that. Well, you might guess 100% of the women declined. And you might also guess that 100% of the men said they would. Actually, it was only about 80% of the men that said, yeah, absolutely. 80%, without any other question, said yes, absolutely. Then they interviewed the men who said no, the 20% that didn't. And they said, I really knew something was off, that this was either a scam, a trap, something. In other words, that 20% had the presence of mind that they knew something was off. But they would have if it were real. So when you understand that you don't want to put men in a place when you are just starting out dating of relationship question, who are you question, I want to know you deeply question, not going to help you as the woman. And I dare say, if a man asked me that, I would find it very odd as well. All right, let's go on. Number 4. What's a common thread among your exes? Oh my goodness. Like, let's talk about exes. What's a common thread among your exes? No. I don't even know what to say about this one. But you're not going to bring up early on in dating anything about it. Again, if he brought it up to you, you might think, oh, that's connecting to me. I would say you wouldn't want to answer it. You'd want to be seriously vague. Depending on when in the trajectory of your dating he asked, again, I would find it very odd. And as the woman, you would certainly only have one answer to that and say a common thread. They're all an ex. That's it. Nothing about their qualities, what happened, anything about it. And if you would ask a man that, the tagline I have in this video is that these questions will give a man the ick. For sure. Yeah, AJG, I hate when guys talk about their exes, especially when they are still bitter. Well, there's no place in talking about that. Generally, people get way into stuff that it doesn't matter. It matters who you are now. You could have had a string of exes that are just all hot messes. But because you have changed and you are doing work on yourself and you come to a new place, it doesn't matter what's behind you. That's of no import now. So we have to be very careful. Dating is a process of allowing someone in, and as the woman, very, very incrementally. Men are all about getting in. We are the pace car. It has to go slowly, and we have to be vague because he has to wonder. Verbally, we give way too much information, and that takes the man's interest down. You might feel like you're connecting. He can feel an ick. So get that, and it's going to help you. It's yin and yang, sun and rain, night and day, on and off, stop and go, verbalizing, action. It's what we do. Okay. So, no. All right, number 5. When was the last time you cried? Oh boy. Again, if a man asks you that, you might think, oh, that's really sweet. I would think he's an oddball if he asked that. I mean, really odd. It's just not very male. But if you ask it, a man will immediately inside put up a guard. Men foundationally are not wanting to talk about emotions. I'm going to give you another very interesting report, I guess you could call it, studies. So they took men and women, they put the electrodes on their brain, they show them different words on a screen. And you will not be surprised at this, I'm sure, if you're here, you're listening to me. They put up the word compassion. 14 areas of the female brains light up when shown the word compassion, because the female brain is connected. It's I think it's the corpus callosum on top. I think I have the name right. That connects the two hemispheres that talk to each other. It's fattier and it connects better. We were designed this way, and we have been this way since we were around when the Neanderthals were around. That we are meant to recognize the needs, the care needs of children, of offspring. And we need to forage in the wild for the berries and what we can eat, and be aware of intruders coming, and still keep an eye on the child. All manner of our brains need to be working in that fashion all the time. And when the males went out to hunt, we stayed back as the females in groups of females. And the way we survived is through our verbalization, because we as women were prey to other tribes of people and their men coming in and taking us. So in our group dynamic, we kept ourselves safe. So verbally, it's why women, we speak in, I think it's like 10 to 20,000 words a day. Men, less than 7,000. We are the verbal creatures. We have evolved that way. Men, and I'll get back to that study, when they had the electrodes put on their brain, remember, women, 14 areas of the brain lit up when shown the word compassion. Men, only 4 areas. This is not good or bad, right or wrong. It is simply male and female, yin and yang. This is why when we're asleep upstairs with our man and there's an intruder coming in downstairs, he leaps up to action, gets something like a lamp, and goes downstairs without thinking. He acts. His brain is not thinking of a million different things and emotions. It's simply male and female, and there is nothing wrong with it. But we want to pay deference to it to help ourselves connect in this age when stuff like this is out there and making men feel the ick because you're trying to connect. That will come. If you ask a very manly male, when's the last time you cried? He'll be like, I don't know, 10 years ago? No. Okay. That's number 5. 6. Who do you talk to when you're going through a hard time? I mean, I understand that question, which what it really is, oh, do you have a best friend you hang out with? What's he do? What's he into? Again, we want to kind of steer away from the question, but not when you're going through a hard time. He's going to go to you as the woman in his life when he's going through a hard time. If you don't give him the ick by asking questions like that too early on, so that he can show you he's a big, strong guy. Don't ask about him crying, having a hard time, talking to people when he has a hard time. No, he wants to feel he handles himself and he gets through stuff. He's the big, strong man. They made a really good, Siren says they made a really good song about that study where 80% of men said yes. Oh, I'd love to hear that. That's really great. All right. That was number 6. Let's get to number 7. When do you feel most loved? All of these, I would dare say. Yes, AJG, I'm going to put up your, yes. Seem emasculating. Yes. Now, again, I told you the name of this expert, and I want to maybe give her the benefit of the doubt, although in the post it doesn't say that. If a man asked you that, when do you feel most loved? Depending how he asked it and when in the trajectory of your relationship, you might find that, again, really special. Either he's weird or it's really special, he really loves you. But the point is that I want to, maybe give her deference that if a man asks, okay. But you see, this is why you please don't follow the dating advice of people who lump things together. This is a prime example of lumping things together, meaning putting dating advice for males and females together. It doesn't work. It's not going to help you. I dare say, if I was coaching men, if a man told me, well, I'm in love with her, I want to get to know her better, what can I do? What can I ask? I wouldn't put it that way. I would say to him, why don't you ask her, what can I do to increase my chances of seeing you again? What do you really like in a man? Something like that, but not when do you feel most loved? Because if she doesn't love you as the man yet, that can also give the woman the ick. And you see how if you asked a man that, when do you feel most loved? Ick. Okay, great. But HAG, completely agree. Yep. All right, number 8. What have you changed your mind about recently? Okay, this is a little generic, but I'll tell you why it's also not a good thing to ask a man about. The men pride themselves on making decisions. They're all about making decisions and sticking to those decisions. And they're not about talking about making the decisions. They usually go away, think about it on their own, decide, and then tell people about it. To prompt a man that you believe he's changed his mind, again, is not going to make him feel the most manly in those moments. So, again, not a good question. Someone asked you as a woman, okay, may not produce the ick. You'd really have to think about it, perhaps. But again, you could ask a woman, what have you recently changed your mind about? It could be just something like, well, you see this dress? It's the third one I put on before I came out. Yeah, something like that. Okay, number 9. What's something you want more of from your next relationship? Again, stay away from the relationship talk. Men don't want to talk about anything related to relationship. They want to see if they can have one. So you may think, well, then what's there to talk about if you're not connecting on how you feel and what you think and blah, blah, blah. There's a whole world out there. And I think I didn't tell you the old joke there is about men and women on dates. The joke goes something like this. What does a man have to do on a first date to impress a woman? The answer? Everything right. What does a woman have to do on a first date to impress a man? The answer? Show up. Take your pretty self there. Be fun, have a good time, be light. If there's something there, you will know. You can go step by step. Let him lead that conversation so that you can see who he's about just as he talks. But you don't have to lead it with questions like that, and certainly not about a relationship. Okay, and number 10. Are you single and unattached? I don't know how that got in there, what she was thinking in terms of that's a question you ask. Perhaps you are out at a function, a party, a bar, and someone comes up to you. Again, I wouldn't ask it in that way. And again, you let it, as the woman, unfold. Don't show such guardedness. And when I say show it, meaning through what you say, just be guarded in what you do. In other words, a man comes up to you and he, you might be, say, at a bar and there's dancing. He doesn't say anything to you. He just takes your hand and he wants to go dancing. Well, you might be pulled away and go right onto the dance floor, but the minute he releases your hand, you go back. You show him, no, you just don't decide and take me out on the dance floor. You didn't talk to me yet. You didn't introduce yourself properly. You didn't, right? You're showing. You see, it's just an example of showing I have a boundary. Now, you do it fun and flirty, but you know? No, you don't just get to touch me too much or inappropriately if I don't know you yet. That kind of thing. You show. He gets a little too close, you pull back a little and maybe show you're making an assessment. You see? Not judging, making an assessment. So I don't think you need to ask that question until the man has asked you out. And if you are already on the date, you should probably be thinking, okay, he's likely dating others. And until there's something said, you don't really move forward. And especially with sex, remember the 2 words, the not yet. Not yet. It's not a no. I like you. I'm continuing to date you. But until we are exclusive, right, you're showing that by not yet, I'm not going to have sex with you. That's going to help you. But you don't have to say. You have your ways of finding out. Don't be so overt and don't show the man I need to find it out right away. I'm not willing to allow things to unfold. It doesn't help you because he doesn't then feel what he needs to feel to continue to pursue you. He needs to wonder to do that. It's why the podcast is called Make Him Wonder. And why it's called the 80-20 Wonder Club. Because if we strive for 100% to make the man wonder, we get to the sweet spot of 80%. And when we do 80% of what works with men, the 20% we don't won't much matter. The 80-20 Wonder Club, you can join for less than a latte a month and have over 200 episodes of Make Him Wonder there. Those are real coaching conversations I have in depth with women coming to me to get their ex back, to grow an existing relationship, to get a relationship on track, to go from situationship to relationship. Friends with benefits to relationship. The categories there are 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. And you can listen according to your age range and situation. So, any questions tonight about the questions you do not want to be asking a man? I think women want to be loved, but men want to be respected and admired. Well, that's absolutely been studied and known that, remember I said about the 20,000 people studied, huge, what men want overall from women and what women want overall from men. Above all, men want to be respected. Women overall want to be desired. Neither one said loved, interestingly enough. But overall, those are the two very things that women want from men and men want from women. So, let's see if there are any other questions. I'm glad that you're here, and if you get an understanding of why you don't want to take the one-size-fits-all advice, it will not help you. That you as a woman initially hold back more, especially if you are very verbal and you have a lot of intelligence and poise, and you can walk into a boardroom and lead a conversation, or you're an entrepreneur and you give talks, or you are some kind of performer and you're very used to being in the limelight and giving performances, what have you. Just hold back and let him show his elan, his strength, his capabilities. Step back so that he can feel more manly. We've gotten to a point like not allowing a man to open a door or pull out a chair or whatever it is. Men like to do those things. It comes naturally to them. We don't want to take it away from them. Yes, you can carry the bags. You can drive the car. You can do everything that he can do, typically. But when you're with him, let him do it. Let him lead it. That makes him feel most manly. And that's, in a way, him keeping it up for you, if that makes sense. Because yes, like AJ said, questions like these can really emasculate a man, make him feel the ick, and they are not going to help you. So take heed. Don't do it. Keep it light when you are first going out. Let him ask you so that you get a sense. And typically, I think a good rule of thumb is, and I did a video on this, you might want to look, what to do, where, and say, something like that, the video, on a date. Very simple. Think of what he will be wearing. Mirror it. In other words, if he's in finance, he's coming from work and you're meeting him for a drink, he'll be in a suit. Well, don't show up in your sweatsuit from the gym. Very simple. But if it's casual Friday and he's going to be in jeans and a shirt, don't show up in your cocktail dress. You know what I'm saying. I'm making a point. Mirror it. Then mirror him when you're talking. He leans his head on the bar, and you mirror it back eventually. You see? Very simple. He sits back, you sit back. Eventually. It's not as soon as he does it. You have to be subtle and slide into it. But mirroring people is a very effective way to create connection. People like themselves. So when we mirror what he might be wearing, when we mirror his actions, if he asks you something, it's very simple. You don't have to think about carrying the conversation or doing anything. He asks you, you can give a broad, maybe vague answer about something. And then, how about you? What about you? He says, so what do you like to do when you're off time? Maybe he says something like, what's your favorite sport? Do you like sports? Have your answer. Mine was always fun because say we are out on a first date and again, you're having a cocktail. That's it. Happy hour. And he says, so do you like sports? I would say, I actually do. And there are two I really like, but I bet you will never guess my most favorite. And he'll say, oh, okay. I would say something like, I'll give you three guesses. And if you don't get it, and then you make something fun, like the next drink is on you, or something like that, or you owe me an appetizer, or something like that. And typically nobody got it, and it's true. And it made it fun because he'd usually guess two, and then I said, no, you're not on track. I'll give you a couple of yes and no questions. And then he'd say, was it played with a ball? No. Is it only women playing it? No. Oh, you got one more. It made it fun. And here's an interesting thing I'll do tonight for you guys. If you can come up with it, and there's been hints in some of my videos, very subtle, you will get the 30 minutes with me. And again, this is for new people I haven't spoken to. But if you can come up with that sport, I will give you that 30 minutes with me. An individual call, ask me any questions privately. That could be really fun. and eventually I'll let you know what it is. So, you know, not all, not only women, and there have been clues in some of my old videos. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Those over on Instagram, if you will come over to YouTube and you will subscribe and comment on a video and share it, you can comment under the video, subscribed, shared, like the video. We can check that out. And then you will also get the 30 minutes with me. Again, this is for new people. So, with that, I'm going to love and leave you so your man doesn't. I trust this was helpful. Please subscribe, share. Very helpful to me for you to comment, to put a like on this video if you do, share it out far and wide to help grow the channel and this community. I will be back with you next Wednesday night for a live. And until then, have a wonderful holiday weekend for those in the States who partake of fireworks and so forth that Americans do on this special holiday. And I will see you in the next video.